Well, the fact that you're here in this room today means that you're about to start a pretty exciting part of your life, right? I assume today you're hoping that you're going to get inspired, maybe get some advice, maybe help process some of the decisions you're trying to make right now. I can't promise that my talk's going to deliver all of those things, but I do promise you that I'm going to be truthful, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to tell you some things that I wish I had been told when I was sitting in those seats back in the day. So, by show of hands, how many of you currently are on the path or feel like you know what career you want to do? Pretty confident? All of you are pretty confident. All right. I guess you in the back aren't quite sure yet. You're still waiting it out. All right. So that's great. That's great. And so you, you very well may be on that path. That may be the path that you take. And when you look back at my age, you may say, yep, I was right. And there I am. Also, your path could change, right? It could go in a different direction. So my story is a bit of both. From a young age, I knew I wanted to work in the business world. That was 100% what I wanted to do. I thought corporate America seemed exciting and very profitable. Those are two things I was looking for. And so I went to the University of Texas at Austin, and I got a bachelor's degree in marketing. And right out of college, I got my first, what I thought was my dream job. I was an assistant buyer at a luxury oh my word, if I can talk. I was a luxury buyer at at Neiman Marcus. Do y'all know what Neiman Marcus is? It's like luxury clothing, yeah. So when I got there, I was super excited because I'm in business, I'm climbing a corporate ladder, and I'm selling a product I love, which is fashion. But I found out really quickly that I had no desire to climb a corporate ladder. It wasn't quite what I thought it would be. And although fashion is exciting, inputting data most of the day is not exciting. And analyzing numbers was not my cup of tea. So I had to quickly reevaluate where I was and what my dreams were. And so after about a year, I reevaluated my options. And I decided to pursue, as Chip said, a career in real estate. My business degree was a huge help in helping me understand how to run a business. But unfortunately, I had absolutely zero knowledge when it came to real estate. See, I grew up, as Chip said, as a military brat. So I moved every 3 years my whole life until college. My family always lived on military bases, so we never bought or sold a house ever. And so when my husband and I moved to the Woodlands after just a year of marriage, I did not know a soul outside of his family. Y'all, this was pre-GPS, so just try, if somebody took your phone away, finding your way around the Woodlands. Even though you know your way, you still can't find your way. Everything's covered in trees. So I had a big, steep hill to climb in real estate and starting that career. So are you all by chance considering a career that may scare you just a little bit? Do you feel a little inadequate in what you're trying to achieve? I'm going to let you in on a little secret that I wish I'd known in college. Nearly everyone that you admire, that you're looking at modeling your life after, nearly every single one of them, when they started their career, felt insufficient. Nearly all of them felt unprepared. Nearly every single one felt unworthy of the position that they stepped into. But of all the people that are successful that I admire today, they achieved those dreams because they believed that they could. I know it sounds strange, but part of success is deciding that you're going to be successful. The people you admire were determined, and I bet you if you asked them, they had a ton of people walking around them to help them achieve their dreams. So you're probably thinking, great for them, that's awesome, but how does that help me? And I've thought a lot about success and why I had a successful career and I'm having a successful career and why people I admire like Chip are successful. And it's really boiled down to some just basic things that I want to go over with you. The first being that successful people are determined. As Chip said, my first year as a real estate agent, I was determined to do well. I wanted to learn everything I had to learn. I wanted to work hard. Y'all, I was the first one in the office every morning, and I was the last one to leave for the first 3 years of my career. I was named Rookie of the Year my first year, which was a huge feat for me because, again, I didn't know how much a house cost. Like, I was like, do they cost $3,000? Like, I really had no clue when it came to real estate. So, becoming Rookie of the Year my first year was literally just grit. It was me showing up and being there and learning what I needed to learn. Over the next 12 years, I built a successful real estate career that enabled me to support my family and to help my employees support their families. Hard work and persistence are foundational to success, but they're only achievable if you decide that you want to be successful. Determination has to come from within. Nobody can tell you to be determined. I mean, they can, but it really won't make an impact unless you decided that you're going to be determined. You have to commit to your dreams, be determined to achieve them, and then that means you have to work really, really hard. I mean, we can all write down all these tips and tools, but at the end of the day, if you're not willing to put in the work, it's going to be real hard to be successful. The second thing most successful people share is confidence. Successful people often let their confidence outshine their fear. Y'all have heard the phrase, fake it till you make it, right? All that is your confidence overshadowing your fears. So everyone struggles with confidence at times. Have y'all heard, or when you're learning something new or stepping into something intimidating, you're always just a little bit nervous, right? So what I do when I'm in those situations, the first thing I do is pray, because I'm a Christian. Then I prepare. The more prepared you are, the less afraid you are, right? And then I just approach it head on, because guess what? You can try to be prepared, but you'll never be all the way prepared. Sometimes you just got to go for it. So confidence is not about not being afraid. It's about moving forward despite being afraid. It's that bravery, right? Like, yeah, I'm afraid, but guess what? I'm just going to do it anyway. How many of you would consider yourself confident people? In the whole room, all of y'all. Anybody who's confident? It's kind of a trick question. Because if you're confident, you're like, yeah, I'm confident, the confident people are confident. So if you're not confident, you just have to sometimes just put on the air of confidence even when you're not. Did y'all know that Adele, Adele the singer, she suffers from terrible stage fright and has a panic attack nearly every single time before she goes on stage? Do you know that Beyonce created Sasha Fierce because she has debilitating stage fright? And when she puts on that persona of Sasha Fierce, she can let go of that. Sometimes it's not about feeling confident. It's about finding ways to overcome your anxiety and your self-doubt so that you can achieve the big dreams that you've laid out for yourself. Another thing successful people have in common is they all have mentors. Now, y'all are fortunate. You're in this room with some pretty incredible people that could be your mentors, right? Showing up in a room with this many incredible people and this small of a crowd is a huge opportunity, and I admire each of you for being in here for that. I've never been shy about asking people to be my mentors. When I started out in real estate, I walked into the top agent in the offices, and the top agent in our office. I walked into her office, and I asked her to be my mentor. She politely declined, which was awkward, but it didn't stop me. Because I knew that she's the one that I was going to follow. And so I listened whenever she spoke. I asked her questions. I observed her. She was instrumental in the success of my real estate business. And over time, she's actually become one of my dearest friends. So who do you admire? Who inspires you? Invite them to coffee or lunch. Even if it's not a formal mentorship, just having that one-on-one with somebody that you admire, you are going to learn something, and it is going to bless your life and your career. So right now, I'd just like to take a second and think of 3 people that you know the numbers to, or you can get in touch with, that you would like to be a mentor in your life. And I want you to either write them down on your paper, write them on your phone. So just real quick, just write down 3 people in your life, or if you can only think of one, but somebody in your life, and it could be Chip Baker. I mean, he's here today. I'd pick him if I were you. I'd put him on my list because I think he might say yes. And you could put me. I mean, you need 3 people on that list. Now, my challenge to you is to reach out to each of those people this week. You can call them on the phone. You can shoot them an email. You can run into them, however you need to meet with them. most people want to help you. And they're going to be honored that you ask them and that you think of them in that way. So if they aren't available, it's okay. Don't feel rejected. Just move on to the next person. Because guess what? That person you asked, they're going to remember that. And I promise you, it's going to make an impression on them about you just because you asked them. So just thank them and simply move on to that next person. I have a list of questions I'm going to hand out to each of you that will kind of help you when you meet with your mentor, talk to your mentor. It kind of gives you some suggestions of things topics of conversation. It's by no means a comprehensive list. And you don't want it to be an interview, right? Where you're like, here are my 10 questions. Let me answer them all. But you want it to be a conversation. These are more of conversation starters. So I'll hand those to you at the end. And as a side note, don't underestimate the power of a thank you. I love to write a handwritten thank you note every time that somebody's invested in my career, my life, or done something nice for me. In this new generation, I know y'all text. I know y'all email. Those work too. A thank you is a thank you, but a thank you is important. Honestly, if you can write a handwritten thank you note, that is one reason I got all the job offers I wanted out of college. I wrote handwritten thank you notes to each one of them, and one of them said you were the only one that wrote me a thank you note. So that is a big distinguishing factor and from a lot of people because they just don't think about it, but it means a lot because guess what? Whoever you admire, they're busy. There's a reason you admire them. It's because they got a lot going on, right? So if they have taken any time out of their day to devote to you, that's worthy of a thank you. And so just think about that. Mentors are important, but successful people also know the importance of surrounding themselves with the right people. I read a book called Good to Great. It's great. Y'all should read it if you want to. And he talks about how important it is to surround yourself with the right people in your life. Who you choose to surround yourself with matters. Are they people who inspire you and bring out the best you? Do you bring out the best in them? It's really important that the people that when you look around are people that you admire, and that when people see the crew that you've decided to wrap your arms around, that those are people that other people admire as well. Having the right circle is crucial, not only for your professional life, but for happiness throughout your life. The final component I'll talk with you about is knowing when to pivot. Sometimes, as Chip talked about, even with confidence and determination and the right people, sometimes you gotta go another direction. And because sometimes just things don't work out. It's okay to pivot. I've experienced moments when I've realized the path I'm going down is not the right path and I gotta go another way. That's not a failure. That's a learning moment. That is time to grow and change. And you learn so many valuable lessons through your turns and your pivots. Have y'all experienced pivots in your life? Has there been times that you've either decided or had to make a change? I bet you learned from those moments. Let me tell you about my big pivot and how it helped me to get where I am today with the people that surround me. 14 years ago, my church showed a video about a camp they were putting on for kids in the foster care system. They asked for volunteers to take a week of their summer to volunteer. It did not make sense for me. Real estate is the busiest in the summer. I had 1-year-old twins. It was not an easy yes, but I decided that it was overwhelming feeling in me that this is something I needed to do. So I did it. That week changed the course of my whole life. I freed up time and space in my life to make sure that I could be fully present that week. And those 8 girls that I met changed my life. They opened my eyes to how unfair life can be and how important it is for people to step in and help when others need it. So I continued volunteering in the foster care ministries for about 5 years while I kept my real estate career, and eventually I knew it was time to pivot. So my husband and I just decided that I would shut down my real estate business and go fully into ministry in the foster care world. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew I had to stop and give myself space so that I could really figure out what that next move would be. Ultimately, I was led to co-found the Champion Project. The Champion Project is a organization that pairs caring adults with kids living in congregate care facilities, which are basically modern-day orphanages. We provide mentoring, tutoring, and literacy programs to these kids. Starting a nonprofit was never on my to-do list. It was never part of the plan that I mapped out. It wasn't part of that corporate ladder. But it has been the most fulfilling chapter of my professional and personal life. The people that surround me now are from my real estate days as well as my nonprofit days. Because helping others has a way of attracting people to you. I don't know where your path is leading you right now, but the more thoughtful you are in your decision making, the more confident you'll be, the more you'll attract incredible people to surround you. I want to close with this. As you go about pursuing your dreams and goals, I hope you'll always be mindful of others on your journey. Because you can be a blessing to others, even as young as you are, and helping them to achieve their dreams. Because there's something even more meaningful about succeeding when you do it alongside other people. So thank you for having me. Best of luck to each of you, and go out and change the world.